Welcome back, boils and ghouls. I'm Weaver, and tonight we're traveling deep into the haunted vaults of animation history to count down the top 10 animated Halloween specials. These aren't just cartoons. These are the specials that glued us to the TV, rewired our little spooky brains, and in some cases, gave us nightmares we still remember fondly. We're going to break down the plots, the trivia, the weird little details, and why each one has earned its spot in Halloween legend. And yes, after number 2, I'll drop 3 honorable mentions that are too good to leave out. So grab your flashlight, hide under a blanket, and let's get into it. Number 10. Halloween is Grinch Night from 1977. Before the Grinch had his heart grow 3 sizes, he apparently had one heck of a bad October. This little-known Dr. Seuss special aired on ABC in 1977, and often gets overshadowed by How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But trust me, it deserves a spot on this list because it's straight up weird and spooky. The story starts with the Who's of Whoville sensing the coming of Grinch Night, triggered by the arrival of the mysterious sour sweet wind. Basically, it's a kind of Halloweeny omen that tonight is the night for the Grinch to come down the mountain and cause mayhem. While the Who's batten down the hatches, a little Who named Ghoulery gets blown away in the wind, runs into the Grinch, and finds himself trapped in the Grinch's infamous paraphernalia wagon. Now, the paraphernalia wagon is the star of this show. It's filled with an endless array of bizarre, nightmarish creatures and surreal visuals. Imagine an animated haunted house ride, but with Dr. Seuss's peculiar art style. The whole sequence is a mix of unsettling, psychedelic, and delightfully creepy, making it one of the strangest things ever put in a kid's Halloween special. The Grinch here is voiced by Hans Conried, who also voiced Captain Hook in Disney's Peter Pan. His delivery makes the Grinch extra theatrical, with just the right amount of menace. The special actually won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Children's Program in 1978. Not bad for something most people forgot existed. Unlike the Christmas special, this one doesn't end with redemption. The Grinch doesn't soften or learn a lesson. He just gets foiled by little Ghoulery, which honestly makes it feel even more Halloweeny. Why it works for Halloween. It's got monsters, it's got atmosphere, it's got unsettling sequences that stick in your memory. While it doesn't have pumpkins or trick-or-treating, it nails that eerie vibe of a weird October night. This one feels like the darker, spookier cousin of the Christmas classic. If you ever wanted to know what would happen if Dr. Seuss designed a haunted carnival ride, this is it. And honestly, Disney's Haunted Mansion could never. From a grumpy green guy to a fluffy white rabbit with glowing red eyes, let's hop into our next pick. Number 9. Bunnicula from 1982. Ah, Bunnicula, the vampire bunny who terrified vegetables everywhere. Based on the beloved children's book by Deborah and James Howe, the animated TV special premiered in 1982 and instantly became a cult favorite. The Monroe family adopts a seemingly normal rabbit they find under a tree at their father's workplace, because apparently that's how pet adoption worked in the 80s. But this bunny isn't normal. His eyes glow red, he sleeps all day, and at night he sneaks into the kitchen and drains vegetables of their juice, leaving them pale, shriveled husks. The real comedy comes from the family's pets, Harold the dog and Chester the cat. Harold is a big lovable goofball who doesn't see a problem with their new furry friend. Chester, on the other hand, is paranoid, convinced Bunnicula is an evil supernatural being plotting doom for the whole household. So you've got this fun dynamic of Harold being chill while Chester spirals into hysteria. This was produced by Ruby Spears Productions, the same people who made Alvin and the Chipmunks and Thundar the Barbarian. Quite the range. Chipmunks, barbarians, vampire rabbits. The special stuck pretty close to the tone of the original book, which was published in 1979 and became a children's classic. Bunnicula later resurfaced in multiple formats, including a 2016 Cartoon Network series. But the 1982 special has that classic Saturday morning Halloween feel. Why it works for Halloween. It's spooky without being too scary, full of gothic imagery, and it plays on the fun idea of what if our pets noticed something we didn't. Perfect for Halloween because it blends mystery, comedy, and a dash of horror without tipping too far into nightmare fuel. And honestly, let's be real, if I found out my rabbit was a vampire, I'd still keep it. Free pest control. Bugs in the garden? Gone. Carrots? Yeah, sorry, those are his now. From a rabbit that sucks veggies dry to a witch who turns kids into actual monsters. Let's crank up the weird with our next entry. Number 8. Witch's Night Out from 1978. This Canadian gem is one of the strangest and most beloved Halloween specials ever aired. It's got groovy disco vibes, trippy colors, and voice acting that swings between hilarious and terrifying. If you ever caught this during one of its countless reruns in the 80s or 90s, you probably still have flashbacks of a pink ghost drifting across your TV screen. The story follows two kids, yes, actually named Small and Tender, which sounds more like chicken nugget sizes than children. They want to be real monsters for Halloween. Enter the witch, voiced by Saturday Night Live legend Gilda Radner, who hears their wish and decides to help. She transforms Small into a werewolf, Tender into a ghost, and their babysitter into a Frankenstein's monster. The animation style is wild, bold neon colors, sketchy lines, and a surreal look that looks very 70s. It's so stylized that some kids found it creepier than the actual monsters. This special re-aired constantly throughout the 80s and 90s, especially on networks like Fox and Nickelodeon, which cemented it as a cult classic. The witch character was so popular in Canada that she actually spawned some merchandise and became a recognizable Halloween figure in her own right. Why it works for Halloween. It captures both the fun and the fear of Halloween, kids wanting to be scary, adults freaking out, and a witch who just wants to party. Plus, the whole thing looks like Halloween, bizarre, colorful, and slightly unsettling. Honestly, the witch here is giving big, fun aunt energy. The one who shows up at a family gathering in a feather boa, teaches you to cackle properly, and maybe spikes the punch just a little. And speaking of witches, Disney has a whole vault of them, along with skeletons, demons, and one very unlucky school teacher. Number 7. Disney's Halloween Treat from 1982. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s, this was the crown jewel of Halloween TV programming. Disney's Halloween Treat wasn't a single story, it was a compilation special pulling together the spookiest moments from across Disney's history. It was like a Halloween mixtape, and it was glorious. Hosted by a glowing jack-o'-lantern narrator, the special takes viewers through a series of creepy clips and shorts. You got the Skeleton Dance from 1929, the Night on Bald Mountain segment from Fantasia, and Ichabod Crane's terrifying run from the Headless Horseman in The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. There were also darker snippets from movies like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, like the Evil Queen's transformation, and Sleeping Beauty, Maleficent's evil spells. Each segment was stitched together with spooky narration and haunting music. And of course, there was that unforgettable theme song, hauntingly cheerful like a skeleton trying to sell you candy corn. The special first aired on The Wonderful World of Disney on October 30th, 1982, and was rerun throughout the 80s and early 90s. Disney released it on VHS in 1984, and for many kids, that tape became a Halloween tradition. Today, it's a collector's item, since Disney never gave it a proper DVD or streaming release. It was basically a way for Disney to recycle their old creepy content into a new package, and boy did it work. Why it works for Halloween. This wasn't just a cartoon, it was a mood. It was a crash course in Disney's scariest moments, all wrapped in a pumpkin spice bow. For a lot of kids, it was their introduction to classic horror imagery, the first time they saw skeletons dance, witches cackle, and Ichabod run for his life. Let's be honest, if you grew up with this, the Headless Horseman is still scarier than any modern horror villain. Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, please. None of them can match a dude who literally throws flaming pumpkins at your head. And while Disney gave us skeletons and spooks, Pixar came along years later and said, what if we put our toys in a horror movie? Number 6. Toy Story of Terror from 2013. Pixar may be known for making us cry, but in 2013 they decided to make us scream. Well, scream lightly. Toy Story of Terror was Pixar's first TV special, clocking in at 22 minutes, and it was a Halloween treat through and through. The toys are on a road trip with Bonnie and her mom when their car breaks down. Forced to stay at a roadside motel, the toys quickly realize they're not alone. One by one, they start disappearing. Buzz, Mr. Potato Head, Rex, vanishing without a trace. Jessie, who struggles with claustrophobia because of her traumatic backstory, has to face her fears and lead the charge to save her friends. The big reveal? Spoilers ahead. The motel manager has been stealing toys and selling them online with the help of his iguana, Mr. Jones. Honestly, if you ever wondered what a reptile on eBay would look like, this is it. In true Pixar fashion, Jessie overcomes her fear, saves the day, and the toys escape back to Bonnie safe and sound. This was directed by Angus MacLane, who later co-directed Finding Dory. Carl Weathers voiced Combat Carl, an over-the-top G.I. Joe parody who became an instant fan favorite. His motivational pep talks like, "Combat Carl never gives up," are legendary. This was Pixar's way of experimenting with horror tropes, haunted motels, monsters in the vents, and final girl energy, while still keeping it family-friendly. Why it works for Halloween. It's creepy, but not too scary, full of nods to classic horror setups, and it gives Jessie a spotlight she deserved. Perfect for a Halloween night when you want something spooky, but still safe for kids. And honestly, I'd absolutely buy a Combat Carl action figure, preferably one that shouts encouragement when I'm stress-eating Halloween candy. From Pixar's Motel of Doom, let's swing back to the 90s, when Tiny Toons gave us an anthology of monster mayhem. Number 5. Tiny Toon Adventures, Night Ghoulery from 1995. This one is pure WB madness. Tiny Toon Adventures, Night Ghoulery is essentially a Halloween anthology special full of monster parodies, horror spoofs, and slapstick gags. The special is structured like a spoof of Night Gallery in the Twilight Zone, hosted by Buster Bunny. The sketches include The Telltale Vacuum, where Plucky destroys Hampton's vacuum cleaner, Sneezer the Sneezing Ghost, where Witch Hazel demands that Furball catch Sneezer the Sneezing Ghost, Gremlin on a Wing, where during a flight, Plucky spots a gremlin sabotaging the wing and engine of his plane, and The Devil Dog on the Moors, where the locals of the moors are scared by the presence of the demon dog, which Babs Bunny has never heard of. It's all tied together with quick gags, references, and the signature WB slapstick humor. The special aired in primetime on Fox, which WB hoped would become an annual Halloween staple, like It's the Great Pumpkin. Sadly, it didn't catch on, but fans who grew up with it never forgot. The animation team packed in tons of visual gags referencing horror movies from Psycho to Dracula. Like Animaniacs, this was written for both kids and adults. Half the jokes fly right over children's heads. Why it works for Halloween. It's a perfect mix of parody and spooky fun. You get your monsters, your creepy setups, and then a giant cartoon mallet to the head. Halloween with slapstick, what's not to love? If Bugs Bunny was Looney Tunes' Van Helsing, then Buster Bunny was definitely their Scooby-Doo. Always in the wrong place, always running, always screaming. Speaking of Bugs Bunny, let's give him his proper spotlight in one of his best Halloween showcases. Number 4. Bugs Bunny's Howl-Oween Special from 1978. Warner Brothers stitched together some of their classic shorts into a Halloween package, adding new wraparound animation featuring Bugs, Witch Hazel, Sylvester, and Porky Pig. Bugs and Witch Hazel cross paths when Bugs is out trick-or-treating. Yes, even rabbits need candy apparently. Witch Hazel tries to cook Bugs in her cauldron. Sylvester runs into spooky trouble while trying to protect himself from ghosts, and Porky deals with haunted house antics. It's a mix of slapstick, magic potions, and Looney Tunes mayhem. Witch Hazel, voiced by the legendary June Foray, really shines here. Although she first appeared in the 1950s, this special gave her a bigger stage. Like most Looney Tunes specials, it's cobbled together from older shorts, but the Halloween framing made it feel fresh. This was rerun for years on networks like CBS and Cartoon Network, making it a nostalgic staple for multiple generations. Why it works for Halloween. It's Looney Tunes with a spooky twist. Potions, cauldrons, witches, and pratfalls galore. Even without pumpkins, it screams Halloween. Honestly, the scariest part of this special is realizing how many times Bugs Bunny got away by cross-dressing, half of which Hazel's problems could have been solved with better glasses. But while Bugs Bunny was running from witches, Charlie Brown was dealing with his own October misery. Rocks. Lots and lots of rocks. Number 3. It's The Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown from 1966. The classic of classics. This was only the third Peanut special ever made, and it quickly cemented itself as the Halloween TV event. Linus, ever the true believer, decides to spend Halloween night waiting in the pumpkin patch for the Great Pumpkin, a mythical figure who rises from the most sincere pumpkin patch and delivers toys to children. Meanwhile, everyone else is out trick-or-treating or at the Halloween party. Snoopy sneaks off for his dramatic World War I flying ace roleplay, battling the Red Baron. And poor Charlie Brown? Well, every house he visits drops a rock in his trick-or-treat bag. Every single house. In the end, Linus is left alone, shivering in the pumpkin patch while Sally chews him out for wasting her night. The Great Pumpkin never shows, but Linus promises to try again next year. This special introduced one of the most iconic holiday gags of all time. I got a rock. Even President Nixon sent Charlie Brown candy after the special aired. The Snoopy versus Red Baron sequence was considered groundbreaking at the time, with surreal music and lighting that broke away from the typical Peanut style. This special became an annual tradition on CBS, ABC, and later Apple TV+, making it one of the longest-running holiday specials ever. Why it works for Halloween. It perfectly captures the highs and lows of being a kid on Halloween. Costumes, candy, disappointment, and unshakable belief in something magical. It's sweet, funny, and a little sad, just like childhood itself. Let's be honest, if Charlie Brown came to my door, I'd give him 2 Snickers and a Capri Sun. The kid's been through enough. But if Charlie Brown had it bad, Garfield had it worse, because instead of rocks, he got ghost pirates. Number 2. Garfield's Halloween Adventure from 1985. This is Garfield at his absolute best. Funny, sarcastic, and then suddenly terrifying. Garfield and Odie dress up as pirates to go trick-or-treating. At first, it's lighthearted. Garfield's main goal is, of course, to get as much candy as physically possible. But the night takes a turn when they stumble into an abandoned house. Inside, they meet an old man who tells them about ghostly pirates doomed to return and claim their treasure. And of course, the ghosts show up. The tone shifts drastically from comedy to genuine horror. The pirate ghosts are drawn in a creepy, otherworldly style, and the whole sequence is drenched in atmosphere. Garfield and Odie barely escape with their lives. And candy, of course. I remember this truly horrified me as a child. The whole pirate ghost sequence was terrifying. Lorenzo Music, Garfield's iconic voice actor, also voiced Peter Venkman in The Real Ghostbusters. So Garfield was technically also a Ghostbuster. The special won an Emmy for Outstanding Animated Program in 1986. Fans still debate whether this was too scary for kids, but that's exactly why it stuck with us. Why it works for Halloween. It's the perfect blend of fun and fear. It starts silly and ends terrifying, just like the best Halloween nights. Honestly, if my cat had dragged me into a haunted pirate house on Halloween night, I'd still forgive him. He's too cute in that little pirate hat. Honorable mentions. The Trouble with Miss Switch from 1980. A substitute teacher turns out to be a witch, and 2 kids discover her secret. It's part school drama, part fantasy adventure, and part PSA about why you should always be nice to your substitute teachers. Mad Monster Party from 1967. Rankin Bass, yes, the Christmas guys, made this stop-motion musical with Dracula, Frankenstein, and the whole monster gang. It's campy, it's weird, and it feels like a monster office party where everyone's fighting over karaoke. Winnie the Pooh's Boo to You Too from 1996. Piglet learns not to be scared of Halloween, adorable, wholesome, and the perfect palate cleanser after Garfield's Ghost Pirates. And now we come to number 1. Number 1, The Halloween Tree from 1993. The crown jewel of animated Halloween specials, based on Ray Bradbury's novel, narrated by Bradbury himself and starring Leonard Nimoy as Mr. Moundshroud. 4 kids plan to go trick-or-treating with their friend Pip, but Pip gets sick and is whisked away by mysterious forces. The kids chase after him, guided by the eerie Mr. Moundshroud. Together, they travel through time to learn about the origins of Halloween, ancient Egyptian tombs, Celtic rituals, Mexican Day of the Dead traditions. Each stop reveals both the history of the holiday and the personal struggles of the kids. In the end, the kids offer pieces of their own life force to save Pip, who returns home alive. It's haunting, beautiful, and deeply meaningful. Bradbury won an Emmy for his screenplay adaptation. Leonard Nimoy's performance as Moundshroud is chilling and unforgettable. This is one of the few Halloween specials that treats the holiday as something sacred and global, not just candy and costumes. Why it works for Halloween? Because it is Halloween. It's about life, death, memory, fear, and friendship. It's spooky, smart, and timeless. And let's be real, if Leonard Nimoy showed up at my door in a cloak, I'd follow him anywhere, even into ancient Egypt. And there you have it, the top 10 animated Halloween specials. Which one is your favorite? Did I miss your beloved Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School? Don't worry, that one deserves its own episode. If you had fun with this spooky stroll down memory lane, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Or Garfield's Ghost Pirates might show up at your door. Until next time, keep your pumpkin patches sincere, your candy stashes hidden from siblings, and remember, even vampire bunnies are real. Happy Halloween, everyone.